that we just paused it. And so thank you, Marion. And we will let you know, I will endeavor to go outside of my comfort zone and accept going away parties, outside somewhere, pandemic over, maybe we go in. And
can those of you online hear me?
We will all mask.
Hey,
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome.
We won't serve a lot of food.
Yeah,
but
I'm not gone.
Away.
So keep pretending I'm never going to go. I'm here.
Let us begin this crazy kind of. If you should have a supplement that will help you. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Shiru Ladonai Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. I will sing a new song unto God. Thousands of years ago, our Psalms were written, and in them, this refrain that shows up over and over, this idea of sing a new song. And I think it's one of the most appropriate ideas for us, for all of us at this time, for Rosh Hashanah. Each and every day, we have this opportunity. We could sing the old song, or we could sing something new. This reminds me of Ernie. Ernie from Ernie and Bert. Ernie had a song on Sesame Street called Put Down the Ducky. You may be familiar with it. So Ernie is a decent saxophone player, it turns out. And he wants to join Hoots the Owl's band. By the way, hold on a second. I want to confirm. Nod your head, everybody, if you can hear me. Everybody at home, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear. We can hear, and everybody says the comments are yes, the sound is much better.
So Hoots the Owl has a band, and Ernie really, really, really wants to play in the band. But he doesn't get, he's having trouble being accepted into the band, and Ernie can't figure out why. Well, and then he shows them, he plays, but he's holding his rubber ducky. And every time he plays the sax, he squeezes the ducky. And so the ducky squeaks and he plays, and Hoots the Owl goes into this great song about how, Ernie, you got to put down the ducky. And he has this really cool gravel voice. You got to put down the ducky, put down the ducky. I don't know exactly how it goes. The point being, sometimes we got to put down the ducky and play. We got to let go of whatever it is we're holding on to and play and sing a new song. So by that remark, we're going to do exactly that. I am almost positive that none of you at home, none of you here have ever sung this next song. It is called Melibenu. And Melibenu means from our hearts, It's on the, right? It's on there, right? Yeah, good. It's on the backside, right? And what it means is from our hearts, we sing, and we sing words directly from the Torah. Uvacharta b'chaim, choose life. God says to us, choose life. I present for you a choice, blessing or curse, life or death. Choose life, and then and the Torah adds, so that you may live. That the purpose of life and choosing life is a life affirming action. And then it says something really beautiful. The song, it says, "Lema'an tichyeh," in order to really live. Uzachor, you have to remember. You have to remember in a powerful way, not in a way that holds you down, but in a really powerful way. And then he says, Ki bazchira sod geula. In memory is the secret to redemption. So this is a song that I probably learned when I was 7 or 8 at camp, and I hadn't thought about it in a long time, and it just sort of hit me the other day that that's a song I want to teach. So I'm gonna teach it to you. I want you to sing along as best you can, and it goes like this. Melibenu anachnu sharim, melibenu anachnu sharim, uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, chaim. Now you try it. Melibenu anachnu sharim, melibenu anachnu sharim, uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, chaim. Now the next part goes like this. Uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, leman tichyeh uzchor, ki bazchira sod geula, sod geula, melibenu anachnu sharim, melibenu anachnu sharim, uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, leman tichyeh uzchor, ki melibenu anachnu sharim, melibenu anachnu sharim, uvacharta b'chaim, uvacharta b'chaim, chaim. In Jewish tradition, we are taught that we shall remember. Zachor, remember, is a commandment. I talked about it last time. Zachor Amalek. Remember when Amalek attacked the Israelites, and Amalek was able to attack us by attacking the weak ones that had fallen in the back, that we had allowed the weak ones to fall to the rear, making us all vulnerable. And we are rememberers. Every time we sing Michamocha, we remember the crossing of the Red Sea and slavery, and we remember all the details of Passover, of slavery and redemption during Passover, and we remember the story of the Maccabees on Hanukkah, and we recall so many different stories of our tradition. We remember them for the purpose of choosing life. Tonight is just one day shy of 20 years since 9/11. And we Jews, we have tools for how to commemorate moments like these. We commemorate them for the purpose of remembering and to be inspired to live our lives with ever more meaning and purpose. In a moment, I'm going to light this yahrzeit candle. But first, I'm going to read this piece called In the Name of Those Silenced on 9/11. We are the ghosts of 9/11. We lived and loved, ate and drank, and looked forward with eagerness and hope on that beautiful late summer day to a tomorrow that was not to be. Like each of you, we had a name. Not one of us was nameless. Those who loved us bestowed our names on us. By remembering our names, you remember us. We looked forward to hearing our name, knowing that you used our name to invite us to join you for supper, to share your joys and your sorrows, to just be with you. That we could no longer do, but hearing our names gives us life and helps you remember the love we brought to your life. We lived and loved, ate and drank, worked and played, and awaited our tomorrows with eagerness and help. Our names were special to us, and above all, special to you who loved us. We no longer live in love, but we can be loved and remembered by name. We are grateful to you for remembering and honoring our names on this anniversary of that gruesome day, 9/11. Hear our name and know for sure that we indeed did have a name. Some of us had even made a name for ourselves. With our name, we answered the summons to live and to love, to earn and to achieve. We brought pride to our names, responded to them, and hoped to live and pass them on to a new generation. We are no longer with you, yet by remembering our name, you make room for us in your heart, and the memory of us among you who live on, so that those who follow us may, in our name and our memory, make the world a better and safer place. Let us not be nameless. Remember us by our name, you who love us and whom we loved in return. If you are a namesake of any of us, honor the name we share with a life of love, courage, and kindness. We lived a life, we have a name, do not forget us. Remember our name and our love for you and your love for us. As you hear our name, honor our name by creating a world of freedom, love, and peace. We are those whose life was ended on 9/11 on a sunny late summer day. Remember our days. Let us live in your memory. Continue on page 4 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela, la 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 Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Shamur v'zachur b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el meyuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemu echad. Shem u'tiferet meliti la 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 lecha dodi, Likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor amracha merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Vive shalom ateret bala Dam b'simcha u'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Page 6 Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed Leolam Vaed Ya la 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 la, 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 la 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 la. 20 years is a long time, and yet it seems to have flown by. It literally runs the lifespan of Sammy, our son. He was born in December, just a few months after. To think about the children of his generation who never knew a world prior to 9/11. It's hard to swallow. It's definitely not the world we want. But ironically, or despite it all, thank God, all of us who sit here today, who are on today, who are celebrating the high holy days, we've had 20 years filled with blessings and challenges. We've still lived. Let's continue on page 8 with Roll into Dark. into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, leil or mipnecho, leil or mipnecho. Vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Let us continue with Shema. Ve'afta, page 9 and page 11. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed. Page 11. And you shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hands, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Well, again, we focus on the simchas, the good news in the midst of even a Shabbat like this, where we remember 9/11. I'd like to know, is there anybody who would like to share with us? Yes, sir. I don't know. I mean, is there somebody who has a celebration maybe, or I should have, oh yeah, somebody back in the back there. Yeah. It's Kelly Dean's birthday. And here's the best part. Kelly gets to accompany himself, singing himself happy birthday. Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly Dean. Happy birthday to you. And many. You know, this is definitely probably the first time that you've had this with this.
Star of David and then
Well, there's that too, but I think along with Oh, are there simchas? Oh, I should ask the group over here. Are there any simchas from the group online?
You can raise your hand or unmute yourself. Sheila.
Oh, I just unmuted myself, but I wasn't planning to tell you anything.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Gail.
My husband Buster is going to be 79 years young on Yom Kippur.
Oh,
Mazel
what a
tov.
day. What a day to celebrate. Wonderful.
Right, thank you.
All right. Well, then we are going to sing Mi Chamocha. Oh, we do. Oh, yes, Susan. Oh, wow. You tell her she has exactly 24 hours to. That's right. Mazel tov. Yes. That's right. And her name is? Wow. That's a wow. 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 Jean. Wow. Excellent. Congratulations. I bet. That's excellent. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, right. All right. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Again, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, the top. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei felech, nora tehilot osei felech. Tonight is also Shabbat Shuvah. And Shabbat Shuvah, yep. What's the matter? Oh, okay. I'll do that next time, everybody. Okay. Sorry. Oh, actually, I can do it now. The Zompers welcomed in a brand new, the Triad Zompers welcomed in a new grandbaby, a girl named Eloise. Gene Fagelson is at the helm of world peace. He has negotiated a business deal between Orthodox Jewish developers and Muslims and Jews are working together to build something together. It's wonderful. Susan Peak's daughter-in-law is being induced, not introduced. She already met him, but induced on September 22nd, which happens to be Susan's birthday. But she's okay as long as the baby is born just in September. And Kelly's birthday, and did I miss any? Okay, now I got Kelly, yeah. So it's Shabbat Shuvah, and it's the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And it is the Shabbat of turning or returning. That is what this tradition is about turning back towards our most cherished values, turning back towards the connection to ourselves, to God, to others. Tonight is also about turning back towards 9/11 and remembering the impact that this day still has on all of us. So we're going to sing this song called Hashivenu. It's on the supplement, and I invite you to please join me. Hashivenu Adonai. Oh, no, that's not the right tune. That's not the right tune. Hey, lecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Hashivenu Adonai. Hey, lecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Help us and guide us, inspire and provide us with the wisdom your Torah can show. Cause us to learn, renew and return, just as in days long ago. Hashivenu Adonai, hey lecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. Hashivenu Adonai, hey lecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem. And I invite you to please rise and turn to page 15 for Amidah, for Adonai Sefatai, and for Amidah. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach. יגיד תהילתך ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai Svatai Tiftach Adonai Svatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem L'man Shemo V'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha bal gevurot umidom elach melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emanat alach hayot hakol baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom yalu chasela baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. At this time, I invite you, if you would like to stand where you are seated, to mention the names of people whom you are thinking of who are in need of healing and wholeness. And once you have mentioned the names, then I invite you to sit back down. All these names and all the names who those of you joining us via Zoom have offered up, we call them to mind and to heart. We sing Mishberach, El Na Rafana La, which you can find on the supplement. arefan Allah, refuah shlema, en arefan Allah. Please heal this soul. Mishe Beirach, Avraham v'Sarah, Yitzhak v'Rivka, Yaakov, Rachel v'Leah, El Narefan Allah, Refuah Shlema, El Narefan Allah. Please heal this soul. With faith and love, together we bring hope and healing to those in need. Without judgment, without explanation, we are all God's creations. El Narefan Allah, Refuah Shlema, El Narefan Allah. Please heal this soul. Please heal this soul. Please heal these souls. As I imagine you are aware, I invited your musings, memories of 9/11. "20 years ago, I definitely didn't need these. These are what I received as of a couple of hours ago. These are your words, our community's words. Certain days are etched in your memory, all earning a place based on the significance of the event. Some good, others bad. I will never forget 9/11. I was out of town on a business trip, and when I called my crew chief that morning to talk about the transport of my car, he asked if I had been watching the news. Obviously, I had not. And as I turned on the television, I saw the plane crash into the second tower. I'm not one to be glued to the television, nor am I one to be overwhelmed by emotions. But I could not help watching the news almost nonstop. Looking back, I think it was because I was trying to make sense out of what I was seeing, watching with horror and heavy heart as the day unfolded, looking for an explanation. There are many images that still stand out in my memory. Interestingly, the most vivid ones are the ones that reflect how we as Americans stood together as a people. The first responders rushing in while people covered in dust and debris wandered shell-shocked. Poignant pictures of President Bush at Ground Zero, firefighters and EMTs from around the country working together. The American people stepped up to help in whatever way they could, whether it was donating blood or raising money for the victims and rescue workers, or simply prayer. People gathered together, sometimes to pay tribute to the dead, sometimes to honor all the first responders, sometimes to share their grief with others, and sometimes because they just did not want to be alone. On 9/11, I was 6 months pregnant with our second child. I was glued to the TV and had many questions. I questioned what kind of a world I was bringing him into. Will he be safe? Is the US now at war? What does this mean for Israel? Will there be a draft? How will this change our ability to travel? And oh my God, this is a travesty of immeasurable proportions for the thousands of loved ones of the victims whose bodies will be found and those that will never be found. I was in graduate school in Los Angeles. I had classes at the HUC campus that day. I woke up to the Today Show and saw the second plane hit the building. I vividly remember two things. One, my mom begged me not to leave my apartment because they were hitting the big cities. And my father trying to convince me that they will get everyone out of the building. Then the collapse. And something in me did as well. My parents didn't know everything, and the world was getting very scary. I flashed back to a day in seventh grade school, seventh grade social studies class. Mr. Degon told us that everyone will live through a war. This was in 1989, and we told her that she was wrong, or Miss Degon, that we had never lived through a war. I miss being 12 years old and not knowing the horrors happening in our world. Of course, a sense of shock. I was home working and turned on my standard Today Show to see Katie Couric and Matt Lauer in disbelief. I was stunned. I also knew the world changed in a way that meant we were not going to get out of this without a scar. As Americans, we would pull together, loving each other as one that day, hurting for each other, and gathering in love for our fellow human being. I was at the gym half an hour before going to Taft. I was always so early. I opened the school. I was on the treadmill, looking at the screen, suddenly went to New York and suddenly showed the plane going into Twin Towers, disbelief, horror, silence. I left the gym, drove rapidly to school, went in to my classroom, and the kids started coming in. I had a small transistor radio. I had the news on. A student came into the room, 14 years old, trembling. I always kept paper cups and water bottles on the desk. I gave her water. The others started coming in. Absolute silence, cups and water. All teachers had to stay until each of the students got picked up by a parent. I don't recall if I taught that day. Suddenly, all these disparate ninth graders were my children. I had to protect them. My daughter was in New York, running away from her building, running and not knowing where away was. She borrowed a phone from another runner to call me. She said, in LA with earthquakes, you go outside. In New York, no one knew where the outside. And away were. Tiempos recios, fierce times. This one was from my Spanish teacher from high school. I was on my treadmill that morning watching TV when the breaking news came out. My husband was in the car driving back home when he heard the news. Needless to say, we were glued to the TV for the entire rest of the day and evening. Like everyone else, we could not believe that our country had been attacked so ruthlessly. Very sad that so many people lost their lives that day. My son and I were in New York the week before September 11th. We were visiting family and several Eagle Scouts that had been working in New York City during the summer, including one that was working in the World Trade Center. We were on Wall Street and did visit the World Trade Center and the stock exchange that Friday. My son returned to Washington to American University, and I returned to Houston that Sunday before. When the plane hit the Pentagon, I tried to check with my son to make certain he was okay and far enough away. It took over 6 hours to contact him. It was an ominous feeling that we were at that scene only 2 days before. On 9/11, I was on my way to work, which was at the Missouri City Branch Library. I had the car radio on. As soon as I got into the building, I turned on the TV. I was able to watch the TV coverage most of the day. Our library patrons were as shaken with what was going on as was the library staff. It was very scary and tragic. The morning of 9/11, for some reason, I turned the TV news on while getting ready. I never do that. The first plane had hit. In shock, I immediately called my husband at work and I was telling him, and then the second plane hit. Then I said, "Oh my God, I will have to call you back." I was scheduled a month later to attend a national Hadassah conference at a hotel in Newark Airport for one of the projects I was involved with. The plan was to meet family there. I was petrified to go, but my son, 13 at the time, said, "Mom, you have to go. If you don't go, they win." After the conference, I took a day with my sister-in-law to go into the city. It was her first trip in since. We were driving down the West Side Highway when all of a sudden she was upset. We had reached the point that we should have been able to see the towers. All we saw was smoke. Visiting as far south as we could was one of the most important experiences I have ever had. There are more that have come in via email that I wasn't able to collect. Right around the year anniversary of 9/11, my synagogue in Birmingham, Alabama, was moving back into our building after having gone through a major renovation. We had been housed at the Southside Baptist Church, which, as an LA Jewish kid, the idea that we were going to be housed at the Baptist church, period, really threw me off. We moved in there soon after 9/11. Basically, a year later, we were moving back. And we marched on the way back in. No, we moved out before 9/11, but we moved back right around the first anniversary. And we marched, it was like 5-6 blocks. We marched from the church to the synagogue carrying the Torahs. Only this time, the Birmingham police had, because we had to get a parade permit, the Birmingham police knew about it, and they said we were fine, but they instituted a much more severe protocol. And so there were sharpshooters. Carrying a Torah, down the streets of downtown Birmingham. I didn't live there now. At that point, I'd lived there for a couple of years. I still wasn't over the fact that I lived in Birmingham. Birmingham. I mean, I was still in my head. Carrying a Torah down the street with the police protecting. That was just a profound moment for me. what I think of when I think of 9/11. Creator of all, source of shelter, grant a perfect rest under your tabernacle of peace to those who died in the 9/11 attacks on the United States. Remember the works of their hands and the message of their hearts. Grant their families peace and comfort for your name's sake and for the sake of those who perished. Bring an end to violence and terror speedily in our days. May their memories be sanctified with joy and love, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of life, a living blessing in our midst. If there are names of people whom you would like to call upon, I invite you to stand where you are seated to share those names this time. We hold up these names along with those that are added to our chat. I invite you all to stand together as we call to mind and to heart all those lost to us, to this community, and especially those who lost their lives on 9/11. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah. Alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'elma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemai v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom is a prayer and a song in the last line of the Kaddish. We say, God, please help us create peace. That just as you make peace in the high places, that you make peace upon us here in the world, for all of Israel, for all of the world. We conclude with Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. La 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 la. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha Ve'ava uvratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
You guys
shalom.
know what's happening.
Shabbat
Yom
shalom.
Kippur. Yeah.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Beautiful service.
Beautiful service.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi. Happy birthday.